Bank Negara expects the Malaysian economy to grow moderately by 4.5 to 5.5% this year from last year's 6% growth. This projection is within the range set by the IMF's forecast of 4.8% this year.
Domestic demand will continue to anchor economic growth in 2015, driven by private sector spending. All economic sectors are expected to expand, with the services and manufacturing sectors remaining as the key drivers to our overall economic growth.
Exports growth is seen to be weaker at 3% this year, compared with 5.1% last year. The central bank says this growth projection takes into account lower commodity prices and major economies' weaker economic expansion outlook. In its annual report, Bank Negara says private consumption is also projected to record a more moderate growth of 6% this year, compared with 7.1% last year. This is after registering 5 consecutive years of above-average growth rates since the financial crisis in the advanced economies. On the back of lower fuel prices and moderate demand conditions, the central bank is forecasting a lower headline inflation of between 2 to 3%. Amidst this, Zeti says interest rate at current levels remains accommodative and supportive of growth. She remains confident that fiscal consolidation of 3.2% of GDP will remain on course despite the low oil prices. On Malaysia's external debt, which has tripled to 740.7 billion ringgit in the third quarter last year from 196 billion ringgit in the final quarter of 2013, Zeti explains that 41% of the external loans are ringgit denominated.
When your exchange rate depreciates, usually your external loan increases. But if a high percentage of your loans are ringgit denominated, the impact is neutral.
In relation to the ringgit, which has fallen to a fresh 6-year low of 3.7 against the US dollar, Zeti believes that the ringgit is undervalued. She says it does not reflect the fundamentals of the Malaysian economy.
We have our own internal assessments of undervaluation and overvaluation. At this stage, we would just say that it's significantly undervalued. Of course, the exporters will not be, some of them may not be pleased that I say this because they are benefiting from the depreciated currency. But yes, we believe that given that we are one of the stronger growing economies in the region, given that our fundamentals of low unemployment levels at less than 3% and strengthened banking sector and so on, and high rate of savings and surplus in our current account, all these are important fundamentals, and a high level of reserves. All these are important fundamentals that would support a stronger currency.
She also says that the narrowing of Malaysia's current account surplus to 2 to 3% of GNI is consistent with global rebalancing and structural transformation in the domestic economy. Wei Lin Tang, DHTV.